All right, so, we love diving into the stuff you send our way. And this time you've really given us something to think about.
Yeah, this is a big one.
It is. It's about that idea from The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, the whole personal legend thing.
Right, that idea that we each have this sort of ultimate purpose, this thing we're meant to do.
And that somehow the universe is actually like rooting for us to get there to achieve it.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to try to unpack today. What's the core of this concept?
Hmm.
How does it actually work based on what you sent us? And what might it mean, for anyone listening who's chasing their own big dreams?
Yeah, because let's be honest, we all have those, right? Those things we kind of secretly or not so secretly yearn for.
Absolutely. And this source material really digs into some fascinating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are two main themes that we really need to explore here. The first is this whole concept that the universe is kind of conspiring to help you when you truly want something.
Okay, it's a good one.
And then the second big idea is this notion that, like, realizing your destiny, that's your primary obligation in life, not just like a nice to have, but something you actually owe to yourself.
Wow, okay, so big questions, huge implications.
Definitely.
So let's start with the basics. Like, what exactly are we talking about when we say personal legend? What does the source material tell us about what that actually is?
Well, it boils down to this idea that everyone has this deep yearning inside them. It's kind of like a pull towards something more.
Not just like, wanting a new car or something.
No, not at all. It's
Hmm.
way more than that. It's about something that feels truly unique to you. This kind of like a dream or purpose that just sings to your soul.
Like it's calling you.
Exactly. And it's not even necessarily about achieving some big external goal, right? It's more about like becoming the fullest, most vibrant version of yourself, the person you're truly meant to be.
So it's about thriving, not just surviving.
I like that. Yeah, thriving, not just surviving. That's a great way to put it. And I think we've all felt that, haven't we? That like quiet but undeniable pull towards something bigger than ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. And what's interesting is that this source material directly quotes The Alchemist. It says, and I'm quoting here, "And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it."
Yeah, that's a powerful line.
It's like the whole energy of the cosmos is suddenly on your side.
And what I find fascinating is that it doesn't mean like the universe is going to magically hand you everything on a silver platter, right? It's not that simplistic.
So how does it actually work then, according to this source?
Well, the idea is that when you make a genuine decision, when you really commit to pursuing what matters most to you, you start to see opportunities that were maybe always there, but you just weren't noticing them before.
Oh, I get it. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses and suddenly you see the world differently.
Exactly. And not only that, but the source also says that like the right people start showing up at the right time, you meet mentors, you stumble across unexpected resources. It's like things just start falling into place.
They actually give some examples of that in the source material, right?
Right.
Like about people having these chance encounters that lead to these huge breakthroughs.
Yeah, exactly. Like one person was thinking about starting a business,
Mhm.
and then randomly bumped into someone at a coffee shop who had done the exact same thing and became like an incredible mentor.
Wow. So it's like when you truly commit to something, the universe kind of opens up these pathways that you couldn't have even imagined before.
And I think the key word here is truly commit. It's not enough to just kind of wish for something. You have to really want it with every fiber of your being.
That makes sense. I mean, how many of us have said things like, "Oh, I wish I could travel the world," or "I'd love to write a book someday," but then we never actually do anything about it.
Exactly. It's like the difference between daydreaming and actually taking action.
Right. So
Yeah.
this is where it gets really personal because the source is asking each of us, what is your personal legend? What is that thing that's calling to you?
Right. Like, what is that deep desire that's uniquely yours?
And they give some examples, like maybe it's starting that business or writing that book or even just dedicating your life to helping others, being a force for good in the world.
But ultimately, they're saying it's up to each of us to figure out what that is for ourselves.
Which brings us to this other really interesting concept from the source material. It says, and I'm quoting again, "To realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation."
Yeah, that's a big statement.
It is. It's like saying that following your personal legend isn't just something that's nice to do if you have the time. It's like your actual duty.
And what's important to note here is that they're not saying this is about being selfish or neglecting your responsibilities to others, right?
But what are they saying?
It's more about honoring your own unique potential, like realizing that you have something special to offer the world, and it's your responsibility to figure out what that is and bring it to life.
So it's like you're not just doing this for yourself. You're actually fulfilling a deeper purpose.
Precisely. And they even tell this really cool story about a woman who left a super high-paying corporate job. to become a teacher in underprivileged communities.
Wow, that's a big leap.
It was a huge leap, and at first a lot of people thought she was crazy, like she was throwing away her career, but she felt this incredible pull towards teaching, and she just knew she had to do it.
And what happened?
Well, the craziest thing is once she made that decision to follow her heart, it was like the universe stepped in to support her grants, came through, seemingly out of nowhere. Volunteers started showing up, and she ended up making a far bigger impact than she could have ever imagined.
That's amazing. It's like proof that when you take that first step towards your personal legend, things start happening that you couldn't have planned for.
Exactly, and I think that's such an important message for anyone listening who's maybe feeling that pull towards their own personal legend, but they're also hearing those doubts in their head.
Oh, yeah, the I'm not good enough or it's too late now kind of thought.
Exactly, and this source directly addresses that. They say, look, the path to your personal legend, it's not going to be a straight line. It's going to be messy. There will be detours. There will be setbacks.
Just like Santiago's journey in The Alchemist, right? He went through so many trials and tribulations.
Exactly. He had no idea what he was getting into when he first set out, but he kept following that inner compass.
And that's what this source is encouraging us to do too, right? To just take that first step even if we don't have the whole map figured out.
Yeah, and they actually give this really practical challenge. They say, write down one small, simple action you can take today that will move you closer to your personal legend.
Like what kind of action?
It could be anything, really, like signing up for a class, researching a new skill, reaching out to someone who inspires you, or even just spending a few minutes each day visualizing what you want to create.
It's about taking that dream and breaking it down into something tangible, something you can actually do right now.
Right? And the amazing thing is that once you start taking action, no matter how small it can create this ripple effect, it builds momentum. And pretty soon you're moving forward in ways you never thought possible.
But it's also important to remember that there will be bumps along the way, right? This source doesn't sugarcoat that.
Oh, absolutely. They're very clear that there will be times when you feel stuck, when you make mistakes, when you want to give up.
That's just part of the process.
It is. And actually, they even say that those setbacks, those failures, they're not actually failures at all. They're opportunities to learn and grow.
So it's like every stumble is a chance to course correct, to refine your path.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to not get discouraged, to remember that this journey is not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be messy and challenging and ultimately deeply rewarding.
And this source is really adamant that pursuing your personal legend, it's not just some privilege reserved for a select few. It's your birthright.
Yeah, they're basically saying it's the reason you're here. It's what you're meant to do.
So don't let that inner spark fade away.
Absolutely. And they even go further than that. They say that the world needs what you have to offer your unique gifts, your talents, your perspective.
Like the world is waiting for you to step into your full potential.
Exactly. And there's this beautiful idea in the source material about how when you commit to your personal legend, it's like the universe commits to you in return.
It's like a two-way street.
It is. And it's not just about what you gain personally, right? It's about the ripple effect it creates. When you pursue your dreams, it inspires others to do the same.
It's like your courage becomes contagious.
I love that. And I think that's such a powerful message to end on because it reminds us that this journey, it's not just about us. It's about contributing something meaningful to the world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we've really explored some profound concepts here. This idea of the personal legend, that unique calling within each of us, and the intriguing suggestion that the universe itself is on our side when we wholeheartedly commit to pursuing it.
And that realizing our destiny, it's not just a possibility, it's actually our fundamental obligation, a responsibility to both ourselves and to the world.
So as you go about your day, really think about that one small action that you identified earlier. What might happen if you actually took that step? What new doors could open? What possibilities could unfold?
Keep this idea of your personal legend at the forefront of your mind and pay attention to what resonates with you in your daily experiences.
And if this deep dive has sparked something within you, we highly recommend checking out Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. It's a powerful and inspiring story about the magic that can happen when you listen to your heart and follow your dreams.
Because ultimately, the journey of self-discovery is a continuous one, and it begins with you.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
It's been a pleasure.